penises.
All right, we're live. Well, with that, that's like our that's the green flag.
This American Monster. A Monster of the Week actual play from This American Dice. Last time on This American Monster, the players discovered that indeed they were searching for a witch. Alan Graves has seemingly disturbed Lauren Wells, following her, while her friends seem to suffer accident after suspicious accident after suspicious accident.
You guys know that you got a witch on your hands. You know that there's this additional guy, Cody Brinzo. We've got a few people on our list of maybe folks to talk to. Cody Brinzo, the other group within this friend circle. We could, I'll just throw out, go to look around where where Olive got hit by a car. We could go and talk to Professor Rosalind Lester, because at the moment we only used information from a book that she wrote.
If I recall, we felt pretty confident about the idea that this final member of their friend group, Cody, would logically be the next victim, right? Team Welker.
Yeah.
Who was the creeper guy? Was that Cody, or was that
Grant
another
Childers? One? Is that who you're thinking of from the previous mystery?
No, although also creepy.
Oh,
he got me.
Alan Graves,
who
who killed himself.
Oh, yeah.
The cultish guy, right? And
yes,
he had
you could
kind
also
of a fixation with Lauren.
Yes, you could also further look into Alan.
And this is the guy who killed himself.
Yes.
What was the last name again?
Graves.
Oh, okay.
Because he's bad. My name is Vampire Dracula.
So it seems to me like there's two things I would like to have done. One is protect Cody, or Cody, right?
Cody Brinzo.
Cody Brinzo
is the member of this crew who is alive that you have not met.
And two, I want like a going to the library and learning about witches scene or something like that.
All right. So so what do we want to do first? And do we want to split up, or do all three of you want to tackle each of these problems in turn?
How do you feel about it, colleagues?
Well, we should use a VPN at the library. I've got one, and that way, if the Illuminati catches on to what we're doing, just kidding, we don't really believe in the Illuminati, but really, the lizard people, if they catch on to what we're doing, they cannot track what our web browser history or what we're searching. So, assuming that which is all of them are in cahoots with the lizard people, why is that a stretch of the imagination? They would be working together. I wrote about it first in the 5th grade and posted that in a chat room. So, but all history of that has since been deleted because it was a privacy protected chat room. Who was I chatting with? I can't say. Okay, it was my friend Todd. But I can help out with the VPN. We'll go middle of the day when there's the most web traffic, and we can research the shit out of those witches.
Darkblade's vote is, let's go do some research at the university library.
I am 100% on board with Mr. Blade's expertise.
Okay, wow, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Okay.
Although I do think somebody needs to be protecting Chad. So maybe we should
Cody, but yes.
bring him. Did I say Chad?
Yes.
You know, I don't know how many times I've told myself that his name is Cody, and I still go to Chad.
We're dealing with a lot of standard white guy names. It's fine.
It's like the prototypical white guy name, I feel.
The name's Chad.
It's like
Listen
the platonic ideal of the name.
Mm-hmm. Every
Maybe-
other name is just a shadow that you see on the cave.
Yeah. You know what? Screw it. What good are we to Cody if we don't even know what we're up against? So let's go to the library, you know? Let's
All
do it.
right. Okay.
Or, you know, if Mr. Greene wants to split off, totally up to Mr. Greene. What would he like to do?
Here, I was going to maybe stay with him.
All right. So Mr. Welker and Herbert, Darkblade 69 Kmoch, head to the University of West Central Florida Library. Ashton is going to try to meet up with Cody Brinzo to discuss some of this with him. Is that what you meant? Or you were going to hang out with Lauren?
I believe he's going to go run protection on Cody.
Okay. Is Lauren with Mr. Welker and Ashton or Darkblade?
If she's down for that, I'm down for that.
I think so. Yeah.
Mr. Blade,
Okay.
would having her around impede your ability to perform deep, dark web level research?
Well, it may be a little bit distracting to have a member of the fair sex with us, but I think I have no problem.
Mr. Welker, Herbert Darkblade 69 Kmoch, and Lauren Walls head to the University of West Central Florida Library. The good thing is, since Lauren is definitely an active student, you have access to the library's resources and can look a bunch of stuff up. So, you already know that you're looking for information about witches. Are there any other like pieces of the puzzle that you're almost imagine if this worked through keywords, witches, what else are we looking for?
Murder hornets.
Okay. Witches, hornets or wasps or bees.
Oh, and pacts from beyond the grave.
Okay.
Also, reincarnation in bugs.
Bugs, reincarnation. All right. So on your very first, let's just say,
Chopra book on reincarnation.
yeah, you get a bunch of Deepak Chopra books. And then after that, you also get info on this professor, Rosalind Lester, who you had already looked at some of her stuff earlier and found like some articles that maybe Ashton as an active student had been able to pull up. And you find a bunch of information about her, including like through the school, just like directory. You just get straight up a phone number, like an office phone number and email for her. And all of that, but it doesn't require a roll. It's just literally like you plug those keywords into the university system and you find it very, very quickly.
All right. So if our research doesn't turn up anything, then we have someone else to talk to.
Okay. I was kind of trying to push you guys to go talk to this lady because I think it will be more interesting to be like, oh, you talk to her and get this information rather than like you're looking through books and trying to find this stuff. Unless somebody has a specific like research kind of move that they want to use.
I think I have net friends.
You do have net friends. Does it make sense for you to use that to find this information out if you just already know a person you can contact in the meat space?
No. No, I'm not gonna make a roll.
Okay, I think it just makes the most sense for you guys to go and talk to this lady. And so you find this information in kind of a faculty directory or that kind of thing, a campus directory for her office phone number. And if you call that number, she does indeed just answer the phone. And she sounds very much like Kathy Bates, Joe Bennett style from The Office.
Does she have dogs barking in the background?
Probably not, but you hear like, Dr. Lester, hello?
Dr. Lester. I am a visiting scholar. My name is Mr. Chase Welker, and I was hoping I could meet the author of one of my favorite books, the title of which is
you're
Witches and
looking
bitches.
yeah, witches and bitches. Yeah, you're looking it up and
Pansexualism in contemporary postmodern sorcery.
mhm. She probably does have she has, if you look up stuff that she's written a bunch of books on she's an anthropologist, and she's written a bunch of books on like folklore, and specifically like the folklore of Florida.
That's where we are.
Yeah, but she's done like a lot of stuff, and yeah, some of the things that she has done are like specifically occult related, and other things are like absolutely like occult studies of colonial America from a queer perspective. Like she's done like a lot of like those kind of like very collegey, really specific things where you're like, there was an entire journal about this. Interesting.
Well,
Very
man,
specific.
I would love to shake the hand of the author of Dark Florida, the Swampy Town Files.
Yeah, and I think she'll say like I was not pleased that the publisher went with that title, but here, I've got a class in a little while, but if y'all want, I mean, I can, if you send me an email, I could maybe try to help you out, but what's this pertaining to? I'm gonna have to go in just a few minutes.
Are we dealing with an author who is not interested in meeting a fan who wants to come and shake their hand? Must be one of a kind.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You're already right. So I think she will be like, she'll be like, well, I'm pleased to meet somebody. And she can just tell you she's in her office at such and such building, like, oh, in Burton Hall, 5th floor, blah blah blah. And so you can easily get up there, and you meet her, and she's again very Joe Bennett in how she dresses. She's got kind of that short white hair that's a little bit kind of lady with a pompadour almost.
And we still have Lauren with us, right?
Yes. And
all right.
And I think she'll when she sees y'all come in, she's like, well, hey there. Well, none of you are my students, and you don't look like folks looking for. You don't all look like folks looking for grad school references. So you must be the man I talked to on the phone, Mr. Weller.
Mr. Welker, it is such a pleasure to meet you. It's always a delight to meet someone who takes the same level of interest in these topics, which, as we both know, are rarely given the credit they deserve. My colleague here, Mr. Blade, is on the same level with me as far as that goes.
And I think she has the same. I think she has the same reaction that like the vast majority of people have in this, where they're like, she's like, Mr. Blade. That's a crazy name. That's all. Yeah.
I'll say, particularly, I was wondering if you could shed some light on witches. I'll cut straight to the chase. My friend and I, all three of us, actually have a great deal of interest in the subject of witches.
Okay. So I think she'll kind of list off
sorcerers.
I think she'll kind of list off some of her books that she could kind of point you to. But I think to get her to kind of get into a spiel about this, we're going to have to do this as a manipulate a person role.
Why don't we just have Lauren, or, with our help, just explain to her everything that's happened?
Do you want that to go on?
I mean, I think that in general, I don't see any reason not to tell her what's happened if she's like an occult believer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that mechanically, at least, is still the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like saying that the additional leverage that you have here is that you're saying like, hey, here's some of this folklore stuff that you study in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's author catnip. You're writing about this obscure subject that nobody cares about, and suddenly someone wants you to save a life.
I think I agree with you in that capacity. However, I can think of two things. One, if this is really something she's super interested, depending on how well you do with this, she might want to get overly involved or like know way more if she's really that interested. Also, I feel professors a lot of times will have people come to them for information about stuff, and they're sometimes like, hey, I'm not getting paid to just talk to whoever, kind of every now and again.
Just lost her thirst for knowledge.
Right. Well, they're more the situation of like, hey, is there a grant attached to this research that I'm now doing? Kind of a thing.
Tenure little bitches.
Yeah. A liberal elite in their ivory towers.
All right. So yeah, I'm down and just tell her like, here's what's happening. Help.
Okay. Yeah, Lauren, as you kind of start this stuff off, Lauren will initially be nervous to bring some of this stuff up. But if you kind of like nudge her to fill in any gaps, she'll fill in the gaps and she'll kind of get into the info about, these wasps, some of this occult imagery. She'll even maybe pull some of the stuff up on her phone and try to show it to Dr. Lester of like this, like the imagery, like from Alan's artwork. But yeah. So could somebody, either Darkblade or Mr. Welker, go ahead and make that manipulate roll?
Darkblade, what's your sharp? Oh wait, no, manipulate?
Yeah, because you're trying to get her to tell you this stuff.
What is manipulate? Like,
manipulate goes by charm, I do believe.
Are you sure this isn't an investigative mystery? Talking to an expert like this, or?
I'm trying to get I'm trying to not use that role as much when we have like a direct thing like this where this person can just become someone who discusses this stuff with you, and use the investigative mystery as like a fallback for when we do not know what to do, and we can just roll that kind of generally. But when we have a person who can directly give us this information, talking to them as a person, I think is kind of the more dramatic way to do it.
That's fine with me. I will speak up and add, well, what this campus is really lacking is a substantial faculty dedicated to folklore and mysticism. We're here, as you know, from a company that has deep pockets and is looking for local talent to possibly grow faculty in this kind of a subject.
And you do look around her office, and her office is pretty small.
There's a bunch of like weird voodoo and like witchcraft and occult stuff in it.
I think it's mostly full of books. I think it's mostly full of books, some of which seem to be like fairly old. But yeah, I think she does probably have some of those like artifacts. She's got some like Native American stuff from like tribes that had been in this area on her walls. She's maybe got some things that are like voodoo related, but honestly, the room is mostly occupied by books. So much so to the point where the only pieces of furniture in the room are her desk chair, and then two other chairs, and they are like the smallest, like almost think high school chairs that can stack on one another, because there's so many books in the room that they've begun to encroach upon the space. So yeah, she's definitely in this kind of like fairly small area. And just for further fun, there are no windows in her office either.
Oh, classic witch trait.
So, but yeah, let's have one of you guys roll that charm roll.
I think Mr. Blade should do it. Not because he has a better charm roll, but because
I did it.
Other reason.
Go for it. Roll the 9?
Yeah.
Okay. And if Mr. Welker wants to pop that bad boy up to a 10.
So helping is my forte.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. My fort, as some people say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got 12.
Hey, pretty good. So that pops Darkblade's roll up to a 10. So yeah, she hears all this stuff. She hears about how you want to get involved in this. And she'll say, all right, go move out of the way here. Come on. And she'll kind of like go and find some books in her, like this crazy collection of books in her office. And she'll start to kind of pile them onto the desk. And this takes several minutes as she's like pulling these different books up. And, she'll start to kind of open them up and tell you about a few things. One is that definitely she kind of further confirms the thing that you already knew, where she says like, especially in a lot of European folklore, wasps were kind of seen as these protectors or these minions of witches. That's not a thing that's native to this, like native to the Americas. Like that's certainly a post-colonial thing, meaning like it's like European influenced. And she'll bring up this idea about death, and if you guys had mentioned the thing about Alan Graves and talked about the specifics of his suicide, she'll bring up some she that definitely pings as something for her, and she'll bring up some images, and they're like old wood carvings from maybe like the 1500s 1600s in Europe. And she'll talk about witches performing this, like legends of witches performing these revenge rituals. And she said during the height particularly of the Inquisition and kind of the hunt for witches and witchcraft, there were people who were believed to be witches who performed these rituals. All right, or so we're told. And these witches would hang themselves over some kind of fire so that they'd catch on fire. And they would do this in front of a black mirror. And this would... The story was that this would allow them to essentially become disembodied spirits, thus robbing their persecutors of the ability to hunt them down and allow them to torment those who would otherwise be their persecutors.
So they essentially turn themselves into ghosts, like vengeful ghosts that can influence the real world?
Yes, that's the legend.
And are they restricted insofar as who they can interact with?
The legends all talk about them going after their persecutors, sometimes maybe their persecutors' families. There were stories about a magistrate in such and such town in England who a witch that someone he suspected was a witch had done this, and then afterwards he and his family being harassed by voices, by visions, that terrible things befell his wife and children, and that he himself eventually jumped into a lake, that kind of stuff. And she'll find you the story. All of this is like she takes a little while in between each one of these nuggets of information, because like as a good academic, she has this info in her head, but she wants to go to a thing to tell you like, see, here's also this. And there's several woodcuts or woodcut prints of witches kind of like looking into mirrors. But the mirrors are always presented as these like flat black surfaces.
So, and this will probably sound very ignorant, but when we're talking about witches, that's not unique to women, right? Like men can do this too, or no?
And Dr. Lester will say like, yes, most of the imagery that we have. And then I think that she gets into professor mode for a minute, where I think she'll even maybe like take a slight amount of umbrage at it. Like, yes, the term is very engendered, and she'll kind of get into like, in our common idea of a witch, we think about women, but when these folks were looking for witchcraft, they were actually looking for sorcery, in particular in England under Puritan rule. But in other at other times as well, witchcraft was viewed as someone who'd essentially communed with the devil or communed with some kind of darkness, not necessarily someone who had these abilities to cast spells. So our perception of witches, the way they're using it, is really anyone who could use these kind of magic or dark arts or powers beyond what normal people would have. But the term is also used very much so with a negative connotation. So
Of course.
these aren't people who use these powers for good. There was always something nefarious about what they were doing.
So where does the potential control over the bugs come in? Like, does a spirit that's been made through this ritual have control over other things?
She'll say, she'll point out a few other things, a few other images. She'll say, like, in some cultures, it's believed that the witches themselves, basically, that like their ability to connect with the natural world and these things that are like beyond the control of man, is expressed through these, especially flying insects, bees, wasps, hornets, things that can go out and oftentimes act in unison, but seemingly are not one solid item. So it's kind of meets at the intersection of human control over the natural world, particularly in a pre-industrial era where people were so reliant on that. But also, if you look particularly how hornets and wasps' nests work, they can almost be viewed as a tumor. These things that grow in a way that sometimes at speeds that we're not necessarily ready to deal with. And wasp nests, beehives can sometimes be built in logs, sometimes even in corpses. And so and she'll show you some images of witches where you see that they have like a hunchback and there's almost like wasps coming out of it. And she's like, in Asian cultures, this is like a common image of wasps or hornets coming out of these, like growing into this person as a symbol of the hatred that they have. So there's a lot of symbology that connects back to like man's fear of the natural world and what they can't understand, as well as the idea of someone being able to express their hatred. And then she'll get back into things, particularly among women who were seen as not having agency in the period of time.
So, last question then: how would you stop someone who's performed this ritual?
She says, well, given that the mirror is key to this, there were some historical accounts, though a lot of them are very spotty. What she's basically saying is like, what I'm talking about is folklore. I can give you this stuff. I can't guarantee you this is how you bust these ghosts.
Sure.
But she'll tell you about like inquisitors writing about how the mirror that was used in the ritual having to be destroyed.
And according to them, that did the trick. Just bust up the mirror, power connection gone.
So the mirror seems to be almost an idea of like a gateway or some kind of.
But you sever the connection, basically.
Basically, that was the idea, that a mirror gives us a look back at our regular world, that this black mirror through this ritual allows them to pass into another world, but still, with the existence of the mirror, have a connection to our own.
So, according to what we know, is there any evidence that this guy, what's his name, Alex?
Alan Graves.
Alan, that he died under a fire or in front of a mirror?
You know, absolutely. He hung himself, and he ended up his robe. It was like a bathrobe that seemed like it was wet, perhaps, and he did it over lit candles, and then he burst into flames as he was hanging.
But no account of the mirror.
There's nothing about a mirror.
Cool.
Dr. Lester is like, she looks down at her watch, and she's like, I'm 25 minutes late for my class.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Someone
Oh
gave a shit
no.
about your field of specialty.
Yeah.
Run!
Right. So, but yeah. Anyway, and you also have this person as like a contact for future investigations.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
give you some of this stuff.
That's super useful.
All right. Meanwhile, Ashton Greene is going to find Cody Brinzo, one of the surviving members of this social group that are friends with Lauren Walls. So, again, I said like you could just find this, but also Lauren could have just told you where this guy lives, or even just given you his phone number. So, would this be a person you'd call? That you'd call initially first, or try to contact via text or something like that, or would you just go to find him in person? Like, what do you think would be the better way to do that?
I feel it'd be more interesting if I just knocked on his door, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. All right. So, he lives. I'm going to say he just straight up lives on campus. And does he live on campus?
Hmm?
No, he doesn't. He lives in
a blimp.
He lives in a blimp. He's a blimpster. You ever hear of Blimpie, the sandwich company? He's the air. Get it? In the air.
Up in the air.
Up in the air. So he lives, I think, in like a nearby. He lives at a house nearby. It's in kind of like a, almost like where we lived in Walden Woods, where it's nearby, and it's in these like houses that are duplexes or that kind of thing, or maybe like small apartments. I think that's the deal. Is it's a very small apartment building that has only 4 units, like 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs, and they are little like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartments. And he lives there on the 2nd story. And when you go and you knock on the door, you hear like through the door, like, who is it?
Oh, hey, it's just it's me. I'm with a company.
Who is it?
I want to talk to you. Just me. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Go away. I'm busy doing something. Get out of here.
He kind of looks down. He's like, "Oh, I didn't think about this." But hold on. A new move that I could try to use here.
Okay.
Is that what you were angling for?
No.
Oh.
just showing the awkwardness of the situation.
Yeah, so I got this move last time. Trust me. When you tell a normal person the truth in order to protect them from danger, roll plus charm. That sound like we're going toward that. In order to trigger this, I have to tell them the truth. So I think yeah, Ashton does say like, "Oh, I didn't think about this." He's like, all right. Let's see, what was his name? Brinson?
His name is Cody.
Hey, Mr. Brinzo. Listen, I'm working for some folks. We're trying to help you out. You might be in some danger. I think I could, like help out a little bit if you let me in and we can talk a bit.
So I think that this guy just keeps going like I'm busy. I'm doing something, and you have to get into the shit like yelling it through the door. But you tell him what's going on here?
Yeah, I think I like I was saying, the truth that I'm telling him is that I'm working for this organization and we're trying to help you. If only you let me in, we can chat about it.
Do you get into the specifics of the current mystery?
If that's what it takes to trigger it, sure.
Yeah, I think just saying like, I work for this company doesn't necessarily do that, but like telling them hey, here's why I need to protect. Here's how this will protect you. That definitely works.
you and your friends are being targeted, and you're the only one who hasn't been, I don't know, attacked yet or affected.
Okay. So yeah, so go ahead and make a charm roll.
All right, Ashton's pretty good at this. He's so charming. His little dimples. So 9.
Got a 9. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, things aren't. Whoop, that's the wrong one. On a 7 to 9, they do it, but the keeper chooses one from them. They ask you a hard question first. They stall and dither a while. They have a better idea. Okay. So I think this guy opens the door and he kind of like looks at you. He has like a chain lock on the thing and he's like, "What's your name?" I'm going to give this guy a voice. He says, "What's your name?"
Oh, sure. I'm Ashton Greene, Junior Regional Project Manager.
All right. Here. And he unlocks the thing and he's like, "Come in."
All right. Yeah, thanks. He's wearing the suit, he adjusts it.
And he'll, this guy looks like kind of like a Giovanni Ribisi kind of character where he's like fairly pale guy, looks a little like sickly, has like a super short cropped haircut. He's wearing kind of a t-shirt that has a probably like a band on it, but like a band you haven't heard of kind of a thing. And inside there, the place is very dirty inside. Definitely tell like a college kid lives here. And some of it actually reminds you of stuff like maybe like Darkblade might be connected to, where there's posters of maybe some, not posters, maybe there's some like video game and gamer kind of stuff hanging around. And this guy has like in the living room, a big computer set up with like multiple screens. And he comes in and he sits down at like one of those big kind of a big office chair, but you could tell it's meant for somebody who hangs out in this chair a lot. Yeah. And he sits down and says, "So you're trying to warn me about something that's going on? I mean, I heard about already Tyler and Olive and Bella. I warned Lauren about that guy just like Bella did. That whole situation, it's not good."
Yeah, we've actually been really concerned about that. You're Mr. Brinzo, right?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, and
you can call me Cody though, because I'm not an old man.
Oh, okay, sure. Thanks, Cody. But yeah, we've been trying to get to the bottom of this, and we think something might be really bad going on.
And I think he's very condescending about like, oh, there's something bad that's going on. When 2 of my friends just died and another one's in a coma.
Yeah.
What company do you work for, and how much do they pay you for this? Because I think I can be the fucking president of it.
Yeah, we're really working to try to make sure nothing else bad happens. And I mean, I think he just tries to change the subject, right? He's like, "Oh, this is a really cool setup. Do you play the Digimon?"
Dude, what do you want? I know that this is dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just really cool setup you have here. But yeah, I mean, if you want, we're really trying. I think he's trying to get him to like stall so he can just stay as long as possible to protect this guy in his mind. But yeah, I think he just goes, kind of just drones on about random stuff and tries to change the subject constantly.
Okay, so I think one of the things with this,
I don't know how long that will entertain him for.
So I think if you want, so your goal is just to stick around here.
Yeah, I think that was the his mission, right? Is to protect Cody from anything that would happen.
Sure. I think that this guy.
Oh, wait, did I misinterpret that?
No, I think you've got it. I just think there's something else that we could do with it that'll maybe be more. I'm just trying to figure out what your game plan here is, and I'm just going to tell you some stuff. This dude is just kind of a dick. Like that's just part of it. Like part of his personality is he's kind of an asshole. So he's not kicking you out and he's not telling you to leave, but he's just kind of being an ass. Where a lot of your kind of attempts to be polite as this character are very much rebuffed as like the thing you're basically oh man, it sure is warm. Kind of like if you were to say something like small talk of like, of course it's warm, idiot. I can get the weather on my computer, like that kind of thing. Like those attempts to interact.
Yeah. Maybe Ashton will try and go like, oh, how did you meet Lauren, or try to dig into the kind of the friend dynamic a little more, perhaps. If he's, I don't know, sounds like he's maybe not willing to talk about anything. So
that's no, not quite. I think he'll be very like scant on those details. But I'll kind of swing this into gear with relevant information here, where he'll say like, yeah, we've been friends for a while, and I've known her pretty well. So I don't like weirdos bugging her or the other friends of mine, though they're getting increasingly smaller in number. That's why I didn't like that Alan guy. And he pulls up Alan's stuff on social media.
Socialmedia.com.
Yeah, socialmedia.bookface.uk. But yeah, so he pulls that.
Yeah, I heard he didn't have a lot of digital friends. It was, at least I guess he had some physical ones at least. With Lauren.
He's like, looks like you heard wrong again, champ. He's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. He says Lauren reached out to this weirdo. And as you can see, not a lot of people have been. And he brings up and it's like, friends, 1, Lauren Walls on Alan Graves' profile. He'll say, like, this guy was a weirdo and nothing good came out of him. This is the thing that's getting to me. And he'll pull this stuff up and he'll kind of hop on the computer and he'll basically say, he'll tell you something, and he starts to talk in a way that like Darkblade kind of talks sometimes, where he uses a lot more maybe technical information. But where I think Darkblade like throws in like crazy conspiracy theory, this guy is basically just telling you, talking over your head as like and it becomes immediately clear this guy's like a computer programmer. And he shows you that he can pull up the social media site, and he can pull up this guy Alan Graves' page. But when he goes to look at the information, like when he goes to look at the behind the scenes information, I don't know what this term is called because I'm not a computer expert, but when he goes to look at basically the code,
code,
when he goes to look at the source code to say like, this is how this is working, not that he can necessarily change it. Yeah. Not that he can necessarily change it, but when he's like, okay, this is how all of this is coded to be the thing that we see. When he pulls it up, he's like, do you see this?
I think that's they call that an asterisk.
And he just, again, shakes his head. He's like, these aren't symbols that should be here at all. And I think Ashton runs into kind of the hiccup of maybe not being fully fluent in what he's talking about, but there doesn't seem to be anything peculiar in the stuff that is on this page.
Yeah, I think he's kind of, bent at the waist, kind of looking down at this screen and just like, hey, you might have to kind of walk me through this, Cody. What do you think is wrong here?
And this takes a little while, especially because you two are not exactly hitting it off socially, I think. But after a while, one of the things you realize is he's pointing out stuff on this screen that you don't see. And it's not because he understands this code. It's he's seeing something else that you're not seeing. That's the thing here. It's like he's looking... so just imagine I'm looking at a page of regular English text. And another person is looking at this page and seeing hieroglyphics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling you, this should be English text. It's not English text. That doesn't make sense. That's not good. But again, you're only seeing the English text.
I think we have that very TV moment where Ashton kind of looks and it's like, but that is English.
And he narrows his eyes on the stuff again. And maybe we see it from his perspective. And the perspective that we see it from his is it's all kinds of weird symbols. But again, Ashton's just looking at it and it's just numbers and letters.
Cody, can you like draw those out for me?
And I think he'll kind of get out a piece of paper and start doing a few of those, and we'll see him on camera, like kind of drawing a few of these. And I think he'll say like he'll start to kind of get a headache and it'll start to bother his eyes. And he's like, I got to take a break from this for a second. Give me a second here. Hold on. I got to have a cigarette.
Okay, sure. And I think Ashton just kind of grabs that paper, puts it in his pocket, and follows him out wherever he's
he just
grabbing
goes
a cigarette from.
Onto the stairs and has a cigarette. Mr. Welker and Darkblade, and Ashton, actually everybody. What's the next step now that we've made contact with Cody Brinzo, who's a very delightful character?
A real sweetie pie.
Well, it's time to kill a ghost.
You know what, Mr. Blade? I think you're right. I'm trying to think, how can we find any connection to a mirror that was on the scene of this thing? I dread to think that the answer is... What'd you say?
What if we break the mirror?
Well, for sure, I think some mirror breaking is in our future. But as far as finding the mirror, I'm concerned that the answer to this is talk to Detective Winters.
That is an option. You also did see that video of Alan Graves killing himself and could maybe try to get further clues about that place, although it's nondescript enough where that's going to be pretty tough, or just information about Alan that could help you to find that place.
The place where he killed himself. What did the video sort of show? It wasn't like a room, was it?
So it was a room. It was inside. It seemed to have a concrete wall that seemed to be very, very dirty. The floor either seemed to be a dirt floor or seemed to be covered in dirt.
I'll ask Lauren. Lauren, I know you're not, you didn't consider him a good friend, but he considered you a good friend, and you seem to have known him better than most people. Do you have any idea where this might have been?
I have no idea. Just like I tried not to watch that video too close, but I've seen it in passing, and I don't know. It looks dirty. Looks run down, but I don't know. I only ever talked to Alan at school, and occasionally through very few interactions through social media. I don't know.
Can we look? So this video has been posted on her her book head page, right?
Yeah.
Can we like sort of go through the comments and see if anybody in the comments has like sort of added themselves as knowledgeable about where this happened?
I'll say no. You can do that, but you don't find that information.
Well, I suppose we can meet back up with Mr. Greene, just so we can consolidate our forces again.
Sure, you guys can meet up just at Cody Brinzo's apartment. Lauren knows where he lives.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Let's get the crew back together.
Sure. So fast forward a moment or two, and Chase Welker, Darkblade 69, Ashton Greene, Lauren Walls, and Cody Brinzo are all in Cody Brinzo's fairly small apartment. And you guys are kind of hanging out in there. And you can maybe get each other up to speed on this, on everything that you found.
Yeah, for sure. I'll share all information with Mr. Greene. I don't want to freak out Cody necessarily. Oh, I guess we already told Lauren. She knows everything we know. So what's the harm? I feel like. Yeah, I guess I would just ask Cody if he knows anything about Alan Graves that we didn't already have.
Cody can just say, like, I didn't know the guy, but the school probably has records on him or something like that.
Records as in, like, maybe, like, health files, that kind of thing?
Sure, health files, just where you're from, where you went to high school, the kind of stuff that would be on your transcripts, who your emergency contacts are, that kind of thing.
Not a bad idea. I mean, yeah, I'd be interested in finding that kind of thing out.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to go about that, though.
We could have...
Mr. Blade, any ideas?
I was going to say we could try to have Darkblade hack into the mainframe and figure this stuff out. Or we could maybe persuade Cody to do it.
He is a hacker. Yeah, I'd be down to like
look at the post-it notes around the desk just to see if there's any post-it notes that have the letters PW on them.
Oh, okay. You don't notice that, but you do notice some post-it notes that have some weird symbols on them. And Ashton, after Cody had drawn out those symbols for you, you noticed that some of those post-it notes have those symbols on them as well. So, like, this isn't but it's only ever like one or two. And so his, like, writing that stuff down for you was not the first time. This isn't the first moment he noticed this stuff. He seems to have noticed it and at least attempted to jot some of these things down in the past. Some of them are like crumpled up and kind of tossed away. But yeah, so we could either have Darkblade try to essentially find this information out from the university, or we could try to do something to persuade Cody to try to do it. And I'm trying to think, is that just a continuation of no, I think this would be a separate role if you wanted Cody to do it, just because this is like him taking additional risk of like breaking into this computer system.
Ooh, what if like can I like manipulate this so it becomes like I'll say to Darkblade like, oh well, looks like we have a pretty experienced, maybe even master hacker here who could find any kind of information we need from the incredibly well protected mainframe that is the campus's secure network. Mr. Cody, I'm sure that this would be a real breeze for you to get into to find this kind of information. Now I know it's difficult, but someone of your skill, it should be a total cakewalk. I'm sure Mr. Blade. I don't want to tax you unnecessarily.
Does Darkblade take the bait to that one, or is it, or are we waiting for Cody to?
Yeah, he's cracking his knuckles. He's dusting off his chin, and
which does actually have dust in it because you were eating some powdered donuts earlier.
Yes, but they were cheddar powdered donuts.
Nice. It has Doritos dust in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, hold on, I gotta get this.
smart
Extreme.
food donuts. You know, like the popcorn. It's like healthy popcorn, but smart food.
Gotcha.
Yeah. White cheddar, baby. This shouldn't be much of a problem.
Okay, so here's my.
Oh, if Mr. Blade's got this, then I guess Cody, we don't need you for this at all. Like, never mind. I thought that we would need someone as skilled as you, but obviously Mr. Blade can do it.
Okay, so is the goal to just have Darkblade do this, or is the goal to push Cody into doing this and being like, no, I can do this?
I'd like to have both of them do it for all I know. Like, either one doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, so if we're trying to get if we're trying to get Cody to do it, it's definitely going to be somebody making a charm roll to essentially pressure him into doing this. If Darkblade's going to do it, he can just sit down and essentially do it, and then we'll have to have him roll something else.
I'd be happy to have Darkblade do it, but I would still like to still like a sense of rivalry between Cody and him. Be like, oh, next time Cody wants to do it.
Darkblade sits down at the computer, starts hacking really hard. He pulls out a second keyboard and plugs it into the computer, and he's hacking on two keyboards.
And one of us has to go and like hold the surge protector against the wall outlet because it's going so hard that like it's gonna pop out if one of us isn't like physically on this thing.
That's how it works. Yeah. Darkblade has a vest on with all these floppy disks that he keeps taking out at high speeds.
Yeah. And his vest is going like quite hot from the friction with which he's pulling them out.
Yeah.
Like, I need like Mr. Greene on there with like a fire extinguisher ready to go.
Ashton and Lauren are just going like, whoa.
I got to brute force this one.
Whoa.
Puts on a power glove.
Yeah. Okay, so is this a net friends role where you're trying to get other people you have contacts with on the internet to do this, or is this a possibly like a read a bad situation role? Are there any of those roles that make sense to have this be?
Yeah, he's in a hacker chat room.
Okay, so you're trying to like connect to other people to get them to do this?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're hacking a network, it's always good to pull from
real hackers. Real hackers don't hack alone.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds like then it is a net friends move if that's the way you're doing that. So that's plus charm.
I got a 10.
Awesome. Okay, good. All right. So you're on there for a while. You're on these different forums and chat rooms, and pretty soon a buddy of yours is able to pull this stuff up, and it's information about Alan Graves. It talks about Alan Graves. It says Alan Graves was born something like 20 or 22 years ago at the Palmetto City General Hospital. His parents were these people that lived at Magnolia Place Mansion. That it burned down. They were killed in that fire. He was raised at the Thaddeus Camacho Foster Home Center or Group Home. So that's the info that you get. So you get essentially that he's essentially like 20 years old, that he was born at the Palmetto City General Hospital, that his parents died in a fire, that they had lived at the Magnolia Place Mansion, and that he grew up and when that mansion burned down, essentially was like around the same time he was born, and then like essentially all his formative years were spent at this foster group home.
So, died in a fire. Was it arson?
I think you guys, because of that role, you can easily pull up some like newspaper reports that bring up that other people were there as well. Like that some kind of club meeting or party or something was going on when this fire occurred. And it says And it basically says, like, everyone present died in the fire.
Suspicious.
And then I think it's I think there's like a story that's like Ted and Deborah Graves are their names are not important, are survived by their son Alan.
This American Monster is a production of This American Dice. This American Monster uses the Monster of the Week system, a game published by Evil Hat Productions and by Michael Sands. Sundry Charms is Leigh. Chase Welker is Carl. Darkblade 69 is Alex. Ashton Greene is David. And your Game Master is Austin Smith. Our theme song is by Patrick Ross. It's called Sinlude. Hey there. A little bit of GM advice that I wanted to give you based on how this episode went. You may have noticed that there was kind of a longer scene with Ashton and Cody Brinzo, and what that came down to, again, something that we'd run into before and something I think we may run into again, was me not being sure if David was playing Ashton as unable to read the social situation. And so rather than just kind of give him a heads up on what's going on, I let the scene play out because I wasn't sure if it was a character choice or not. I think generally letting the players play their characters is probably the better way to go. But if you have any doubt in your mind, just ask the player. Ask the player, like, oh, are you playing this character as obtuse? Or is there something you're not getting or I'm not explaining properly? Is there some miscommunication between the two of us? Or are you playing this character this way? The same can happen when characters get like aggressive with one another. If you think a person is having kind of a weirdly aggressive response to something, you can ask like, oh, are you bothered or is the character just pissed off here? What's going on with that? Because if the character's pissed off, then we can roll with it one way. If you're, as a player at the table, pissed off about something, then that has to be dealt with in a very, very different way. It's really cheesy and kind of cliche to say like, oh, it's all a conversation that we have at the table and we have to be kind of open and honest with one another as we create this project together. But it's true, as cheesy as it is. So again, if you think that there's some kind of miscommunication, or if you're wondering, is this a character choice or is the player not getting something, ask. Because in that scene, if Ashton is just being socially obtuse, that scene could have played out a slightly different way. If the issue was David just didn't know where to go with it, I could perhaps have given him some more information, or even just fast forward some of it, and we didn't have to have he and Cody Brinzo hanging out alone together. I could have said like, all right, everybody else meets up with you guys, and we kind of kick that into gear. But these are the kind of things that you learn from.